This is alertwolf here to bring you a tech-related video game video, and this one is going to be on my first impressions of the Wii U. So this is the Wii U First Impressions video, and basically, unless you were living under a rock today or yesterday, as today is now Monday, the Wii U dropped. And although I personally didn't get my hands on it, meaning I didn't buy it, and the only reason why I didn't buy it is a series of stupid misfortunes. So first, my TV goes. First I'm saving money for the Wii U, you know what I mean? Then my TV goes, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put off the Wii U until I get a TV. And it was fine because it was my old TV, and I needed to make the switch to HD anyway. So I save up the money for the type of HD television I want, and then my car gets totaled, and then not by me, but well, whatever. So the car I need a new car basically. My car dies, and it didn't get totaled. Excuse me, it died. So so the car dies, and now I have to. And now I have to spend the money on a car as opposed to a TV. So basically, it's car, TV, Wii U, and in that order. But that aside. So basically, I didn't. I couldn't. I could afford it. I mean, I had the money now. I could have bought the thing today, but so I didn't do the pre-order like I should have, because I've been waiting for the Wii U for about a year. And but a friend of mine did do it, and he brought it over at my girl's house, and actually it's my girl's roommate's boyfriend, and he, we played it for a few hours, and drank some beers and shit. It was good time. And basically, so this is my first impression. So the game, obviously, the pack that I played was the black edition. And I played Nintendo Land, and my first thoughts, in playing with the new controller, incredibly comfortable to hold. It doesn't feel that heavy, considering it has to weigh more than a regular. Obviously, it's going to weigh more than a regular controller, but it was extremely comfortable in the hands. I know people have been complaining that the black, because it's glossy, shows the fingerprints, and I know that'll bother a lot of us out there, and it slightly bothers me because nobody wants to see fingerprints. But that being said, that black is sexy. I mean, the white is nice too, but the black is just sexy. So let me get in a little bit of the, the use of the control. Basically, you turn on the system, and I'm going to warn you now, guys, in case you haven't done it yet, it's going to take a while for everything to update, for you to create your accounts, and for you to get going. It could take someone who's not used to something like this maybe like 30 minutes almost in doing everything, 45 minutes, because it's a lot of updates that they're putting out. And the reason for it is, obviously, the hardware was ready and they were working on the network. That's all. And there's a lot of stuff you have to do when you first set up this gaming system. However, I mean, there are ways to go about things faster. Obviously, if you previously owned a Wii, excuse me. If you previously owned the Wii, you could have loaded up your old me, and any of your old Mii's actually, and just bring him over. But if not, and if you're new to the process, you just simply create a Mii. And what's cool about the controller is it actually can take a photo of you, render it as close as of your face, and render it as close as they can, giving the facial parameters of your face. Now, I did this because it was my friend's Wii. I already had my own Mii, obviously, in my on my Wii, at my girl's house, and it was my friend's Wii U. So he actually went out and left the system so I can play, because him and his girlfriend, they had dinner to go to, so I was able to play it with my girlfriend. And but you know, I didn't know his password, so I had to go through at least the Me Creations setup myself, which is good because it's very hands-on, very easy. It's a lot easier than I think it was last time. It's a lot more. It's the same amount of customization, but I feel like it's a little easier to do, and the setup is a little better. And again, with the photo view, it matches things up to the best of its ability, and then you're going to go in and take that and modify it how you see fit, but it's a good starting point. And all of that should take you about 15-20 minutes, you know, unless you're indecisive or something. Then after that, basically, I didn't play around too much with the Nintendo TV. So again, that, you know, when I do get my hands on it further and get to play with it some more, I'll do a video on it. But right now I'm just talking about gameplay. So I did play the Rayman Legends. I played 1 or 2 levels there for a second, and it was a lot of fun. Even though it's a 2D side-scrolling adventure, the music was very good. The levels and the backgrounds of the levels were beautiful. And so it was a fun game. I mean, I'm not a big Rayman fan, but I enjoyed this, you know, playing it slightly, basically. You know, I didn't have time to play all these games at once. I did play the Nintendo Land, and I played a couple of different adventure games, and then within like a half an hour playing, they came back, so then it was 4 of us. And I'll say this, there are one-player aspects to obviously all those games, with the exception of a few, but it's really a multiplayer experience. Nintendo Land is a party game, so if it's just you or you and the second player, it's not as fun as it is with a group of people. And the fun thing about the Wii U, although as far as I know, it supports, they're saying it's possible it can support 2 of the tablet controllers, but from right now, I guess it just supports the one. And basically, you know, you could add up to 5 or many more players because of the Wii controllers you could bring aboard. So it's, you know, the multiplayer's fun. You know, the guy with a control pad may not necessarily have the advantage. The Wii U controller, it's usually the control pad versus the Wii U. I mean, there are cooperative games. Now, I did the Ninja Star thing. That was as fun as it looks in the trailer. It is just as fun. I mean, you know, I played the Pikmin game we got to play, and I will say this, it was probably my favorite of all the games. We played cooperatively as opposed to, you know, opponent-driven, and it was just a lot of fun, very smooth, and it kind of gets you excited for the new Pikmin coming out for the Wii U. So great job they did. It felt very complete. I played the F-Zero. Now the F-Zero was a little, it was fun because there's no gas. You basically hold the controller sideways and steer like it's you know. The only thing I found odd about it is, or 2 things about that one. Instead of having the controller straight on and doing one of these, you know, that feels like a steering wheel. You're holding it like this, and you're doing one of these. It was just a little weird. I mean, you got used to it. It's fun that the camera views you and puts you on the screen there, and, you know, you see your own reactions. I will say this, though, on how they have you grip the controller in that particular game, your thumb, or at least mine did, was resting over the camera lens, and I had to, you know, not do that. I played the Mario one with I think it's the Chase It game. I played that 2-player, which was a lot of fun, and then I played it, which was a little easier 2-player, to be honest. And then I played it multiplayer, and it was a blast. It was a lot of fun. It's very hard, you know, but it's very hard to get your target. You know, I wasn't the chasee, I was the chaser, right? And you know, it was a lot of fun. The other games I played the Luigi Mansion game. I wasn't one of the ghosts. I was one of the guys with the flashlight. I was a Ghostbuster. Thank you. And I enjoyed the game a lot. You know, it captured some of the fun of that original Luigi's Mansion. So, excuse me. So I enjoyed it. I mean, let's see, what other game? I did the one-player Zelda mode. And what I did was the crossbow adventure. And it was, you know, it took a second to get used to, but again, very fluid, very fun. All these games are highly enjoyable, you know. And it's funny when I think back on the Wii U, the Wii versus the Wii U. I did play a lot of Wii Sports tonight too, just to go back and feel the difference. And the games in Nintendo Land are richer. They're more developed. They feel more stable. You know what I mean? And they're more fun. Now, having said that, Wii Sports at the time is still a hell of a lot of fun, even now, by the way. And at the time, you felt more blown away by Wii Sports because it may have been very simple, but it was just so new and revolutionary with the motion controls. Now, now, and again, so it's not the same thing, but again, Nintendo Land is just richer. There's a lot more gameplay, and you have more party fun, I would say, just because of the richness of the experience. I'm trying to think of what else I played. I tried the Donkey Kong. That is hard. It's like one of those games where you have to get the ball, and you know, you're turning it sideways. Got to get the ball in the hole. It's like something like that when you were a kid, you know, or through the maze, basically. And this is almost the same concept. I mean, you had to, like, it reminded me of the DS, having to blow into the microphone to make things work. And it really showed you the flexibility of what they can do with this controller. You know, some of the fun stuff. I mean, because think about it. Anybody who's played the DS or the 3DS or whatever your version is, there's a lot of things that the DS does that regular consoles just couldn't. I mean, 3D aside, they just really couldn't do that. They never had a second screen before. They didn't have the, you know, the microphone and all this stuff. So it's kind of nice to see a little more integration on some of the stuff the DS could do, and now the whole home console can do as well. Oh, and with the Zelda, I played that completely on the controller and completely using the controller screen. And the screen is amazing. It looks great. It's crisp. It's clear. You know, it's 16:9, and the touch is very easy to use. And you don't feel like you're squinting. You don't feel bad looking into the tablet to play a game as opposed to the big screen TV you have it on. You don't feel cheated that way. And that was pretty good. Now I'm trying to think of what else. We connected it obviously using the HDMI wire. The fact that it comes with an HDMI wire is great. So that is a lot of fun. And I think that's pretty much all I did today with the Wii U. So my first impressions of the system: is it worth buying? I know there's a lot of hype on it. I see the potential. You know, I've seen that. I haven't gotten my hands on a truly next gen game to see how the graphics really look up close and personal. But from all the trailers I've seen, it looks great. And again, the big worry about such a big tablet is it going to feel right in your hands? You know, that's a big issue, especially for any gamer out there. Is the controller going to feel good? And it does, and it feels natural, and it feels easy. So that's a big deal. And the motion that it doesn't feel awkward. It doesn't, I mean, except with the 7.5 game, because they did it this way, but it doesn't feel awkward. It's very smooth. And it, you know, and Nintendo Land does show you the potential of what the Wii U can do as far as games are concerned and gameplay. Yeah, so I definitely suggest it's worth buying. I'd go with the 350 model. just based on what you get off of it. I mean, you get the 32 gigs, you know, you get the Nintendo Land, which is a $50 game anyway, or $60 game anyway. So it's already, you already get it because of the game. Comes with a couple of cradles, the Nintendo Pro stuff, and it's just worth it. Honestly, it is worth it. I mean, the only reason, I guess, if you like the white color, you'd go with the white one, but you don't have as much memory, and you don't get the game with it. So yeah, it's probably going to be tough to get if you didn't get it. But, you know, I'm sure they'll have some for Black Friday or something like that between now and Christmas. And it feels like a next-gen system. It feels very quality, very high class. You know, it doesn't feel cheap or chintzy or anything like that. And so I feel like it's gonna do what the Wii couldn't do. Meaning, it's gonna bridge the gap. Nintendo went after last time casual or even non-gamers or new gamers. And, you know, that's a big debate right now in the gaming community because traditional gamers, heavy gamers, people who consider themselves gamers, let's put it that way, people who consider themselves gamers were almost offended by the original Wii after the novelty wore off. And Nintendo in general, because they've always felt like there's always been the stigma that Nintendo's for families and not for adults, you know, that there's no violent games. But if you look at the launch titles, pretty solid, heavy games are available for the Wii. So if that's what you want to do, they got it. Call of Duty, they got, I mean, Batman Arkham Asylum is old, but they got it. Darksiders a little old, but there's some extra content, you know. The Mass Effect 3 is old, but it looks beautiful. So they're you know, Assassin's Creed, great. So there are a bunch of games that they're putting out that's going to be hardcore. It's going to be violent, and I think it's going to really bridge that gap. So you're going to have your casual gamers and your hardcore gamers on the same console, and in a nice way. And you're going to, again, Nintendo's going to do it again and just reinvent. So it's going to be interesting to see what the next set of controllers for the other systems are going to be. And that, you know, because eventually, say what you want about the novelty of the Wii U still outsold every other system. And they forced everybody else to go to motion. So, alright, but, you know, this video's gone on for a little while now, and let me just wrap it up. So again, I say the Wii U is well worth buying. I think there's plenty of launch titles currently available, and depending on how you like to play the game, or what type of gamer you are, there is a launch title for you. If you're into Madden, the new Madden I think is out too. I'm pretty sure. So again, it's well worth it. It's the only system right now coming out with the HDMI wire. It's coming out a year earlier than the other systems. And let me say this. Due to the current technology of the televisions, games graphically can't do anything better than 1080p. They really can't. And whereas so what you're going to see is full true 1080p games, which we're starting to see now with the system anyway. And it's going to be the speed. You know, I think Xbox is only 30 frames. I'm not even sure PlayStation 3 may push 60. I'm not even sure. But I know right now games itself aren't at 60 frames a second. So that's where they're pushing them to, let alone 120 frames per second. So what we're going to see is the speed of frameworks. And that's going to do stuff on on basically the refresh rate and the smoothness and the crispness and the lack of blurring and all of that. So that's where you have to look out for, just like with your TVs. The next gen systems are going to try to push the envelope as far as frames per second. And that's where you're going to see the true growth. But again, having said that, it's definitely worth picking up. It's definitely worth getting. And I think I'm pretty good here. So this is alertwolf here. Telling you to click it up if you like it, comment if you must, subscribe if you can, maybe. I am out.